set of tutorials, we'll work on a project. So we'll do level 1 of the project in one tutorial, level 2 in the second tutorial, so forth. This project will involve an activity. We'll call it the Great Canadian Challenge. And the activity essentially will give students some easy to answer questions at first level. And then if they answer those questions correctly, we'll move them on to the second level and then the third. So that'll be divided across 3 tutorials. So we start with ActivityMaker. This is the template. You'll notice the description is on the left. We'll double click to turn that into a project. We'll call it Canadian Challenge. I'll go ahead and hit OK. So that will now create a folder called Canadian Challenge. And it'll place the folder in the projects folder under Lodestar, wherever Lodestar projects are stored, and that is governed by Tools Options. And so here, these on my Google Drive, I'll have a Lodestar folder. Under Lodestar, I'll have projects. In projects, I will have a folder called Canadian Challenge, and all the ingredients for this project will be placed in Canadian Challenge. That will allow me to just simply take the folder and put it on a web server if I want to, or put it on a CD-ROM, and all of this will work. The starting file or the kickoff file is index.htm. If you didn't understand it, don't worry about that. So on our first page, we have a page of text layout. We have a HTML editor. We're also able to add audio. We should always label our pages. It's a good habit to get into, especially when you get into things like branching. We won't add this to the table of contents, and this page won't have a point value. That's a more sophisticated concept. So we'll go ahead and start typing in some text. And I'll just type in some directions. Click on the next button to continue. Let's go ahead and format this. We'll turn this into heading level 1. And then we'll go ahead and bring in an image. So we'll get image. I clicked on, let me show you that. Here's the little image icon, get image. I'll grab a famous image from Canadian history. How about this one? I'll put in an alt tag here, Canadian Constitution, which is what that image is all about, in case someone is looking at, or at least rehearing this particular learning activity through a screen reader. In this case, I'll have a border. I'll keep border checked, and then I have a certain color for the border. It's solid. This is the color, and I'll have a border size of 2. You can change that. The default is no border, none here, and border size of 0. I'll also make this aligned left. So there we go. There's the Great Canadian Challenge. Here's our image, a nice margin. It's all taken care of automatically. Now what I'll do is add a page, and I'll begin with my questions. Now normally I would actually put in some instructions. I would put in some instructions that tell the student what's going on. I would explain the fact that this is a 3-level assignment. It's a challenge. They have to get the questions answered correctly before they can move on to the next level. But I won't bother doing that. I'll get right to the questions. So I'll change the layout of this. Let's start with a simple question type. Here we go, and you can see if I simply hover my mouse, I get a little post-it that tells me what to do. I need to type in my question here under question stem. I'll type in In what year was Canada confederated? So we have lots of different choices. I'll say 1432, 1666, how about 1867, and finally 1932. The right answer I'll indicate by clicking correct. That was 1867. Let's put in at least one feedback here. We'll do it for 1932 just so you can see what that would look like. So this is a little branch button, and now what I'm able to do is go ahead and show some feedback. This was an important date, but not the date of confederation. So you can see here that we're able to show feedback. Make sure you check this off, put in your feedback, and you can do some signaling here. You can make words bold and so forth, so you have a little bit of an editor right here. I'll go ahead and save that. Now if I want to preview this, so what I've done so far is selected a template, I put in some content. Let's preview. If we preview it, it automatically saves. So I could save by simply clicking on Save Project, or I could save by doing File Save, or Control S, but it automatically saves if I preview. So let's take a look at that. And what I have now is I have a learning object, the navigation's all set up. So I'll go ahead and go to the first page, I'll answer incorrectly, and you can see that my feedback pops up. Okay, so that's all we have for now. Let's create a new page. Here's the plus button, and I'll change the layout. Of course, I could have a question with more text, more room for text. I can have a categories, a short answer. Let's attempt a short answer here. And my short answer is going to be, who was the first Prime Minister of Canada? Let's go back to this page. This was our first question. I neglected to give it a point value. So let's go ahead and give it a point value. Let's give it 5 points. Now I'll return to the question I'm presently working on. I'll give that 5 points as well. Well, the short answer, short answer would be McDonald, and we'll leave it at that. I could make this a regular expression, so I do have the opportunity of, now a regular expression is kind of a more sophisticated concept. But just to give you an example, I could select regular expression, and I could begin to make allowances. For example, maybe I would allow MC Donald or something like that, or allow lowercase. So I could put in a parenthesis or a square bracket. I could have an uppercase M, a lowercase m. So I'm requiring either uppercase or lowercase m. I could allow any character. I've just put a period in there. And then an asterisk, meaning any number of characters, but must be followed by ONALD. So uppercase M, lowercase m, a period meaning any characters, any number of characters, but must be concluded by ONALD. And then I'll put in the answer that I'm looking for, which is McDonald. I have a 5-point value. Great. Now let's add one more question. Let's make this question a flashcard type. So there's all kinds of different types of things you can do here, but We'll make this flashcards. Well, now I did that too quickly. We'll select an image, and what we'll do is ask a simple question like, what is this city? What is this city? So here's the image of the city. And or we could, where are we? Or we could, which city is shown in the image? The short answer is Toronto, and the feedback we're going to give to students is Toronto. So there we go. We have a flashcard. We'll give that a 5-point value. Let's go ahead and preview, see what we have. So I clicked on the preview button, and here's our first page. Here's our second page. Who is the Prime Minister of Canada? I got that wrong. What city is shown in the image? I could put in Toronto. Let's see what happens. And there we go. The correct answer is Toronto. You'll notice too that I can go back. In what year was Canada confederated? I'll type in click on 1867. I got that right. Who was the first Prime Minister? I can't change that now. This is locked. And you'll also know that I can't move on to the flashcard because that's already been taken out of the flow. Flashcards that are answered correctly are just simply taken out of the flow. We'll explore that concept in a little more detail in a later tutorial. So that concludes my level 1. In the next level, we'll add slightly more sophisticated questions.